Hi, 72 Daystar, and for the sake of doing something different, I'm going to do something different. That is not a walk-in vlog. This came out after Bill Nye and Ken Ham's debate, which was, I don't know, a year or so ago, and it shared the thoughts of 22 creationists directed towards people who believe evolution. So that's the title, 22 Messages from Creationists to People Who Believe Evolution, and I'll leave a link below. Okay, so let's, without further ado, let's address these, so give us a variety. This will be like a variety pack video, so not just one topic. I'm going to deal with 22 as quickly as I can. Okay, Bill Nye, are you influencing the minds of children in a positive way? He's teaching science, and it's based on empirical evidence, so the answer is yes, he is. I guess the guy assumes that he's wrong and he's misleading people and potentially costing them their eternal life, but there's thousands of other people who probably have non-compatible belief systems based on the same evidence. Number two, are you scared of a divine creator? Well, if it's the one portrayed in the Bible that commands people to go out and butcher towns for living in the wrong place, you know, chopping up kids with swords, yes, that's a pretty scary character. But thankfully, no more than that. Number three, is it completely illogical that the earth was created mature, i.e. trees created with rings, Adam created as an adult? Yes. Yes, it is. Well, unless you're willing to accept that God is a deceptive God, that he said the world was such and such an age, and yet he created it to look old, and there's no way around that. So I think you'd end up with a deceptive God. Okay, number four, does not the second law of thermodynamics disprove evolution? No, it's just the system as a whole is moving towards entropy, but it doesn't say that you can't have isolated pockets of order within that. So if you have a big power source like the sun pouring energy into an environment like the earth, you can have increasing order. There's not a problem there. Yeah, no, number five, how do you explain a sunset if there is no God? Well darn. Refraction, lights. I think the implication is that we can't have beauty without God, and that's horseshit. We can have beauty. It could be to our benefit, survival. If one of the points, who made that? I think it was in one of Pinker's books that I read, Steven Pinker. So, if you ask the average person what they identify as a beautiful painting, they'll look at this nice landscape, this sort of orchard and meadow things. But that's completely consistent with our evolutionary past. That would have been the kind of environment that we have been most successful in. So maybe there's a survival benefit from beauty, and there could be linking things so that we generalize, we think that's beautiful, we think other things that have the similar qualities are beautiful, and it has no particular survival benefit, but it's not just that. It doesn't have to benefit us to get perpetuated. If it's neutral, it will be perpetuated as well. Number six, if the Big Bang Theory is true and taught as science along with evolution, why do the laws of thermodynamics, this is redundant, we've already addressed thermodynamics, so I'm moving on to 7. What about noetics? Noetics, I'm just doing this, noesis in phenomenology, thinking. Yeah, what is it? Why does thinking have to come from God? That deserves a whole video on its own, and maybe I will do one in the future. What would be a short response to that, though? Short response. The brain is a set of sensors. We have our outer senses, but we also have inner senses, and we have a sense that senses our end, gives us feedback on our flow of cognitions, and cognitions are attempts at modeling external and internal thoughts, and we get feedback from that, and then that spawns other cognitions, and it has a reciprocating feedback loop. Yeah, it really deserves its own video, but I don't see any necessity to bring God in to explain it. You know, he's really a non-explanation anyway. This is like magic. You've done nothing. You've explained nothing. Where do you derive objective meaning in life? I don't know what objective meaning in life means. It's a nonsense term as far as I'm concerned. But you get meanings. To have a meaningful life is to do things that are meaningful to you and your community. And that what makes things value. This has to do with morality as well and beauty as well. Is a biopsychosocial process. So we have artifacts of our society that said this is beautiful, that's not beautiful, and our biology contributes to that, and psychology contributes to that. So it's just they don't want to do it the complex way. So they just want to say, well, God says that's good, or my interpretation of God says. Well, they won't even concede that. Let's move on to 9. If God did not create everything, how did the first single-celled organism originate? And that's a straw man. Abiogenesis is not talking about single-celled. That's evolution's purview. Abiogenesis is talking about the first self-replicating organisms that would be subject to evolution and would grow in complexity. And so, really, a straw man. But the straw man usually includes a eukaryotic cell, which is quite a complex organism, as opposed to bacteria or even more primitive organisms, archaea, which are even simpler. So those exist. We have, even today, we have a number of the different intermediate levels of complexity that show that this is a complete straw man. Number 10, I believe in the Big Bang Theory. God said it and bang, it happened. Okay, good for you. Number 11. Why do evolutionists, secularists, humanists, non-God-believing people reject the idea of there being a creator God, but embrace the concept of an intelligent design from aliens or extraterrestrial? But most of them don't. There is a fringe. Probably most famously, Edwin Hoyle believed in panspermia, that we might have been seeded. But generally no. But it is more plausible. I mean, if we're on the verge of being able to manipulate, we do manipulate the genetic material of other organisms, others could exist in the universe. That's it's far more plausible than disembodied brain or disembodied minds. Number 12, this is the cover girl. There is no in between. The only one found has been Lucy, and there are only a few pieces of the hundreds necessary for an official proof. I wonder what her criteria for an official proof is. What's the quota for the number? Well, there are 1,500 Homo erectus individuals, and they're not the same species as us. So deal with it. And Lucy is an Australopithecus afarensis. Australopithecus afarensis, I think she was afarensis, and there are more than one individual that have been found. Number 13, does metamorphosis help support evolution? Well, it does if you believe that ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. So if you look at all the insects, for example, you have they all have this sort of maggot stage, and so it seems plausible that at some stage in the arthropods' history, and that's supported also by paleontology. Number 14, if evolution is a theory like creationism of the Bible, why then is evolution taught as fact? Well, because it is, and you're equivocating on theory. The theory as hypothesis is creationism, and theory as in the theory of evolution, which means a well-supported body of work converging from many different fields. Number 15, because science by definition is a theory, no. Not testable, no. Observable, no. Nor repeatable, no. Why do you object to creationism or intelligent design being taught in school? Because that's completely wrong. Wow. Number 16, what mechanism has science discovered that evidences an increase of genetic information seen in any genetic mutation or evolution? Nylonese. There was nothing. A bacteria evolved to be able to process nylon, which is synthetic, which didn't exist before. So it's a pretty good piece of evidence that there is increasing information. Number 17. What purpose do you think you are here? Okay, for if you do not believe in salvation. I think it's pretty clear. I mentioned earlier, we come up with our own purposes of society. It's a biopsychosocial process. We come up with our own purposes. So a little redundant. Let's move on. Number 18. Why have we found only one Lucy? Well, because that's a unique individual one, but we have found other Australopithecus species. Why have we found only one Lucy when we have found more than one of everything else? Because maybe they lived in a place that wasn't conducive to formation of fossils. I mean, people think that, you know, the percentage of, if you die, you're not likely going to be a fossil, and so are the thousands and tens of thousands of other people around you. It's, if they were, for most of our existence, we were just, you know, in a few million humans. That's it. So if an important evolutionary advance happened in a region that just wasn't happened to be very conducive to formation of fossils, then there wouldn't be any. That happens regularly. Number 19, can you believe in the Big Bang without faith? Well, let's not equivocate on faith here. So religious faith, yes, we can, but we do trust the process of science, and we do for good reasons, rational reasons, because it happens to work, usually. So yeah, number 20. How can you look at the world and not believe someone created it, thought of it? It's amazing. Well, it is amazing, but we have a tendency to believe agents are responsible for things in exaggeration. So I would ask the person, how did you discount, when you made that conclusion, how did you discount that it wasn't just you acting on that heuristic, that tendency of human cognition to believe that everything we see has some agent behind it? Yeah, well, because we know a lot of the processes, too, that account for the appearance of the world around us. So that's why, basically. 21, relating to the Big Bang Theory. Well, they love the Big Bang Theory, don't they? Where did the exploding star come from? Exploding star. It wasn't an exploding star, and in fact, it wasn't really much like an explosion at all. It was an expansion of space-time. And where did it come from? What's wrong with I don't know? Okay? If we come from, I want to go back to 21. Hidden in there is that appeal to ignorance there, implicit. If we come from monkeys, then why are there still monkeys? God, there must have been some atheist put this together. That's just funny to end with that. My favorite response to this, I forget who originated it. It wasn't me. But if we come from, if Adam came from dirt, why is there still dirt? That's probably my favorite response to that non sequitur. All right. Anyways, just for a change, I thought that'd do it. Anyways, 7 2-day star.